Hey guys, it's Alex Fibonacci, and I wanted to take a moment to share a video with you guys on how to look for new coin releases, specifically on Solana, where most of the volume is nowadays, and using their Pump Vision kind of platform, I guess, for new coin releases. And I'm going to be showing you guys how to do this on BullX, which I think is the best platform right now for basically monitoring new coin launches. So it's pretty easy to fund your BullX account. Just go to bullx.io, or if you want, obviously in the referrals page, you guys can maybe hook up a fellow HQ member if you want to use their link. But it's a simple Telegram bot that'll link up your wallet to your Telegram. Then you send money to whatever chain you want. Obviously, in this case, Solana. And then, once you have your balance in, then you're pretty much good to go. It should show up in your accounts. And we're going to explore this kind of Pump Vision. Like I said, BullX works with a lot of chains, but we're going to focus specifically on the Pump Vision for Solana. So if you come over to this tab on the left with Pump Vision, you'll see kind of 3 columns. And for those of you that are unfamiliar, essentially what is going on here is there's essentially this pump.fun platform that allows these devs to launch these coins very cheaply. I think it's like $2 for them to launch these new coins. And essentially, once they grow in market cap to about 50K market cap, they transition to actual standard liquidity called radium. And so that's when you'll see graduated. These coins basically have kind of grown enough sufficient market cap to go from kind of the initial launch platform to a standard liquidity pool. And so now that you're familiar with that, there's a few filters that you're going to want to look for when you're kind of looking at each of these columns. And for the first creations, if you go to these filters, you can see there's all kinds of different ones. You don't really need to see the moonshot tokens because you won't be able to buy those directly from BullX anyways. This top 10 holders basically is kind of a filter. If the top 10 holders, I think if they hold more than 10%, it filters out. But for new tokens, it's usually like 30% pretty often. So I usually would leave that off for at least this first section. And then these other filters, you can kind of filter, how close is it to graduating to that radium tier. So if you want to not touch, immediate coins, but maybe you want to look for coins around like maybe 25K-ish market cap, you could put in maybe like 50 or 40 to 60% in here. How much percent of the coin does the dev hold? You could also put a cap on that. Maybe you don't want them to hold more than 10% of the coin. I don't really touch any of these others, but you can put filters on holders, how much liquidity is there, how much volume. This market cap filter I do think is helpful with this initial column, because basically all of these new coins launch at a $4,000 market cap, and if you don't have any filter there's like so many of them. It's really difficult to kind of keep up with them and everything else. So I would recommend at least putting this up to 5,000, maybe 8,000, or if you want to be a little safer, obviously you go 15 or 20,000. Make sure it's actually getting some buys beyond just you, because if you're the first one to buy something, obviously the profit potential is greater, but you're gonna get rugged a lot more often than otherwise. So I would suggest at least putting 5,000 to 8,000 in here at least. You'll still see a lot of new coins, but it won't be like every single one that's posted. And then that's pretty much kind of the filters there. Oh, and I forgot to mention one. I also like to tag this one that they have at least a social, because that's one of the things I look for in research. So if you want to check that, it'll make sure they at least have a social. And then kind of when you look at a new coin, there's a lot of good information that comes in here. I'm going to try and keep up with this, but these are going to move as new coins get released. So up here at the top, you can see the coin name, how recently it was released, what percentage of the coins the top holders have. I'm going to try and follow this one. How much percent of the coin does the dev have? And then this little rat icon is really helpful. It shows you kind of what percentage is owned by insiders. So that's kind of one of the things we'll mention that you want to avoid. Like typically anything over even 5. I mean, if there's any insiders, honestly, it's a little higher risk. But anything over 5% is definitely high risk. Because sometimes they'll just pump these coins up and it's all insiders essentially. That's definitely something to look out for. Otherwise, there is kind of social links down here. You can go to their Twitter or X, Telegram if you want, and then several of them will have like a website icon as well, this kind of globe. And then the last thing that's helpful is if you click on the photo itself, it'll actually take you to Google Lens. I'll just show you guys real quick. And you can kind of see, is this image actually unique or not, because a lot of times there's stolen art or whatnot. So that's kind of like the main things, and then you actually have the ability, if you want, to put in a dollar amount in here, and you can do like quick buys on these. Otherwise, if you click into them, you'll then basically transition to the charts, and obviously when these coins initially launch, you're going to be looking at 1 second charts, and this isn't something coin I'd be interested in. I just want to show you guys kind of what it looks like. So again, same information up top here, the socials and Twitter and everything. You can check the Google Lens thing from this page too. Shows you the market cap, how much liquidity is not really important until it goes to radium. And this bonding curve, like I mentioned, is kind of how close it is to that 50K. And then there's kind of an audit feature here that has like different things in terms of kind of the smart contract itself. So if you see something that has some things that aren't safe, it's definitely worth looking at those. Obviously you want to make sure there's not honeypots and stuff like that. But if there's an issue, I think it'll kind of come up with this warning anyways. And then you can basically come in and say, I want to buy 0.01 or as much as you want, obviously. And then when you buy the coin, you can, I'll show you guys an actual example when we're done too. But kind of the other important thing you can see is the orders that are coming through. You can kind of see information right here. And so obviously when a coin's first launch, pretty much anyone buying is going to be a top holder, but you'll be able to see when people purchase, if they're top holder or not. You'll also be able to see if it's the dev, it'll have kind of a little cook hat. It'll have a little rat if it's an insider, etc. So here's like a little more expansive dashboard, and you can actually see these people's like holdings and how much they've bought and sold too. You can see holder counts, your own positions, etc. So that's kind of like the information you'll see when you actually click into the coin. And so yeah, that's kind of like the lay of the land, I guess. And then what to look for. So when you're looking for these new coins, there's kind of two edges I'd mentioned in voice chat the other day. One of them is obviously looking for kind of promising new coin launches, and really some things I found that are helpful in this are one, if it looks like a kind of a high effort launch, if they're actually a quality website and quality social versus something like just quickly slapped together, that's most likely on a rug. If it's high quality, good effort, that's obviously like one positive sign. Another thing that's helpful is if it's something unique or if it makes you laugh, like it's probably going to make other people laugh too, and that's kind of helpful. And at the end of the day, this is a game of attention, and for something to be successful, it kind of needs to stand out and be able to grab attention. So there's obviously tons of little different dogs and things like that, and obviously 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000 of them actually goes up, but it's more often things that are kind of unique that tend to do better. So that's another thing. And then it's also a plus if the coin is in line with recent narratives. So a couple examples that I've seen over the last few weeks. Obviously there was the celeb kind of meta when all these different celebrity coins were launching, and it's kind of cumulative attention. That's kind of, people are like, oh, this one celebrity coin went well, so if I put money on this other one, it has a higher chance of being promising too. Another example, there was a day where some influencer said, someone should make this like World of Warcraft coin, and if they send me like 30% of the supply, I'll support it and never sell. And there was a guy that did that, and that coin went to multiple millions. And then following that, there was kind of for that day or for a few hours, like a World of Warcraft narrative where other like characters from World of Warcraft were doing well. And again, it's just kind of cumulative attention. People are seeing something that did well recently and then following kind of that narrative. So it's a plus if it follows that as well. Things to look out for, like I mentioned, if it's stolen art, the Google Lens thing's really helpful for that. Obviously, that's low effort and it's bearish. If it's offensive, it's also kind of a tick against something because it has a better chance of being successful if it's kind of like universally applicable or interesting to people. Obviously if the dev or insiders hold a lot, like I mentioned, you kind of want to stay away from those. And if there's multiple launches, like with the same name or coin, that's also going to be a little challenging because you don't know which one is going to kind of rise to the top, at least when they first launch. So if you see kind of multiple with the same name, same photos, etc., it's going to be really high risky to kind of try to pick one. In that case, it's almost better to wait for one to rise and then maybe enter that one. So yeah, those are kind of like the things to look for and not look for. And then what do you do when you find like a promising coin? So generally kind of this is a little more risk management. What I've found is with the kind of high rug risk that's in this space, there could be something that you think this is like the best coin that, ever is going to happen. And then 30 seconds later, the dev rugs you. So it's really hard to like, especially with these new coin launches, have like play with conviction. So I think what's better is to just kind of outline a specific kind of risk amount that you're willing to bet on newly launched coins. And kind of what I found is, anything in the range of like 5 to 10% of your bankroll is usually like a pretty good amount. Gives you 10 to 20 shots essentially to find something good. And maybe when you start out, you do like even lower that 0.5% to 1%, or even just like 0.001, just to kind of practice a little bit first. But from what I've found is like most people typically like use 0.1 to 2 Solana for these kind of new coin launches, and then as things mature and get larger market caps, more established, less rug risk, that's when they're kind of willing to size up more significantly. But that's kind of like sizing wise and risk management wise, kind of what to think about. And then a few different kind of trading strategies and approaches you could think about. So one, for example, oh my god, yeah, these names are insane. So we'll look at just this one for example. I'm just looking at one randomly to just kind of show you the chart. So one potential strategy when buying these new coin launches is to use what I call like a trailing stop based on market structure. So say you found this coin and maybe around here, a minute or two after it launched, so it's kind of like, okay, like this seems like a really cool concept. It's got the Bitcoin eyes. It's kind of similar to another coin that did well. I'm going to buy this coin. What you could do is use basically a trailing stop loss until there's a shift in market structure. And what I mean with that is you got higher highs and higher lows here, kind of continuing up. And then, we don't really have a bearish market structure until... yeah, you have a lower high here, but it's not followed by a lower low. So technically you don't really have right here is kind of where I would say there's a market structure shift. So you've got higher highs, higher lows, a little bit of a lower high, but still kind of generally trending up. And then right here you have a pretty clear low. And then whenever that is broken, you have a kind of shift in market structure. And as you can see, like it doesn't always happen immediately, but after that first lower low, you're likely to see continued lower lows. So you could take profits here. Take out your initials or take profit the full thing around 40K, and maybe you bought in at 13K. That's a nice 3x. So kind of just hold it until you see a market structure shift, and that's when you exit. Another few strategies I've seen, and I'll shout out to Bento. I think he shared this in the shitcoin chat a while ago. His strategy was to sell your initials at 3x, hold on to the rest, and then kind of use your emotional comfort levels as like a signal of when to sell additional. So he said if you get uncomfortable, sell 33%, and then watch the chart. If it climbs more and you feel kind of more uncomfortable, sell another 33%. And for the last third, sell half of it when you can't handle it anymore, but always keep a little moon bag, maybe around 10% of your stack or something. So kind of a good strategy there for things that are doing really, really well. And then also you can look for kind of psychological profit levels. So I will also kind of mention, I think I have this by default, but when you look at these coins, I actually recommend looking at them by market cap instead of price, because you're going to get more information. Typically you'll see kind of psychological reactions at kind of key market caps, 100K, 250K, $500,000, $1 million, obviously goes up, 5 million, 10 million, etc. And so kind of at those key levels, you might, want to also, maybe ladder out, take some partial profits and things like that. So I guess I'm going to show you real quick kind of how to do that real quick. So we'll just buy like a negligible amount right here, just for example purposes. Takes a couple seconds. All right, so I have some of this Dark Billy, and so you can place take profit orders with this sell button, go to the limit right here, and then you can kind of use this little scroll wheel for how high or below. So say maybe it's 25K right now, and I want to sell it when it gets back to the high. So you kind of can move that where, and then say how much you want to sell, and you sell it, and then it'll place a limit order right here. And then if you want to place a stop loss, you'll move this thing down a little bit, and I don't really have a good level here, but let's just say it's 25K. I don't want it to go below 20K for whatever reason. So I'm going to put my trade here, say I'm going to sell all of it if it goes below here, and now I have a stop loss. So this is a really nice thing about BullX. You can place take profit stop losses. You can also, instead of doing your entire thing, you could say 25%, or like I said, 33% from that potential strategy. So really cool kind of way to do that. I'm going to go ahead and exit out of this, and then the last couple things. Kind of the best times of day when there's typically more activity and liquidity. What I've found is generally kind of New York market open, which is around 9:30 Eastern till maybe 11 Eastern. That first kind of hour and a half or 2 hours. There's often like quite a lot of new coin launch and things like that. And then also I found like 8 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern. A lot of people from the US are back home from work, and that's also when the Tokyo market opens. So those 2 times seem to be pretty well. I think there is kind of an overnight period as well, but I'm in the US and obviously not trading then. But some of the other guys that are international could inform me on that. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is a helpful cool tool that the Escape shared with me called the Chain Edge, and I'll drop it in the field report so you can have it. But it's a subscription service that you can get more information about kind of smart wallet holders. There's a Discord with other people exploring opportunities, so it could give you some other tips there as well. And then you can also monitor for when the high P&L smart money start to sell. That might be a good opportunity for you to take some profits too. So hope you guys found this helpful, and obviously feel free to pop in the shitcoin chats or memecoin chat for ideas, questions. We're all happy to help each other and share information, and obviously if you need help with a chart or something, I can help with that. So hope this is helpful, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.